You ever wake up and realize your life somehow got locked into autopilot? That was me for the past 15 years. Same alarm, same drive, the same burnt toast smell from the diner down the street. Nothing bad, just nothing. My name's Ben. I'm 51. I live in Albany, New York. I've been an accountant since I graduated SUNY back in the 90s. Not flashy work, but it pays the mortgage, and until recently, that felt like enough. I've been married to Emma for over 18 years. We met at a mutual friend's 4th of July barbecue. She worked in healthcare management back then. Organized, sharp, always a step ahead. We moved in together 6 months later, married a year after that. For a while, things were easy. We were never the overly romantic couple, but it worked. At least, it looked like it did. These days, I'm out of the house by 6:30. I grab breakfast at Tom's Diner, sit in the same booth, nod at the same waitress. Then I head to the office, sort through spreadsheets, sip lukewarm coffee, and try not to think too hard about anything. Come 5, I'm home, Emma's already started dinner, and we maybe exchange a few words about work before zoning out in front of the TV. No fighting, no passion, just two people coexisting under one roof. She wasn't cold exactly, just not there, not really. We hadn't been intimate in a long time, but I didn't push. Maybe I should have. Instead, I told myself that's just how marriage gets after a while. Comfortable silence, predictable routines. You lose the spark, but you gain stability, right? Problem was, even that stability started to feel hollow. I'd lie in bed some nights staring at the ceiling, wondering how we got so far from where we started, wondering when the silence stopped being comforting and turned into a wall. But I didn't ask questions. I didn't want to poke holes in something that was still technically standing. Quick note, before listening, share which city or country you're watching from. Emma would go to sleep early, phone in hand, back turned. I'd stay up, sipping whatever was left of my beer, flipping through channels I didn't care about. I figured this was normal. Everyone settles eventually. Everyone compromises. I wasn't looking to change anything. I wasn't even sure what needed changing. I just knew something didn't feel right anymore. But I kept showing up, kept eating my eggs at Tom's, kept pretending the cracks in our life were just part of the paint job, until things stopped being easy to ignore. It started with her phone. Emma used to leave it on the kitchen counter, face up, like it was just another appliance. Then, out of nowhere, it was always in her hand, locked, face down, or tucked away in her purse even when we were home doing nothing. One night, I noticed she was sitting on the couch across from me, legs tucked under a blanket, scrolling with this tiny smile on her face. The kind of smile she used to give me back when we were first dating. "What's funny?" I asked. She looked up, startled. "Oh, nothing. Just some stupid meme." Then she turned the phone off and said she was tired, went to bed early. A couple of days later, I called her while I was on lunch break, straight to voicemail. I tried again, same thing. Then around 3 she texted, "Sorry, phone was on silent, busy day, seemed harmless, probably was." But it kept happening. Calls ignored, texts answered late. She used to check in during the day just to say hi. Now it was radio silence until I walked through the door. One Friday afternoon at work, Tom leaned over from the next cubicle. We've worked together over a decade. Guy's blunt, doesn't sugarcoat anything. "Hey," he said, tapping his pen on my desk. Weird question. "Was Emma at that regional healthcare dinner last week?" I glanced up. "Yeah, why?" He shrugged. "I thought so. I was there for like 10 minutes, picked up a folder for my wife. I swear I saw her at the bar, laughing with some guy. Looked like she was having fun." That made me pause. "You sure it was her?" "Pretty sure. Red dress, hair up, same voice. She didn't see me, or pretended not to. Didn't look like her usual self, that's all." I nodded and mumbled something about her being under stress. He went back to work, but I just sat there for a second, staring at the spreadsheet on my screen, not seeing any of it. That night, Emma mentioned she was heading out for a walk alone. "Just need some air," she said, grabbing a jacket. I looked up from the table. "Now?" "It's not even 8, she said, brushing past. "I've been feeling off. I just need space." That word hit different. Space. She'd never used it before. Not even during fights, which, granted, we barely had. She was gone for almost an hour. No text, no update. I sat there in the living room, chewing through half a bag of chips, pretending not to notice how quiet the house was without her. I told myself I was overthinking. People change, routines shift. She's probably just stressed, hormones, work pressure, midlife, whatever. But something didn't sit right. It wasn't one big red flag, it was a bunch of tiny threads pulling loose. Her schedule started shifting. She said she was staying late at work more often. She started caring more about her appearance. New clothes, new perfume I didn't recognize. One Saturday, she said she was going to brunch with some old nursing school friends. No names, no invite. She used to ask if I wanted to come along. Now she barely looked up from her makeup mirror when she mentioned it. I didn't say anything. I watched. I logged it. In the back of my mind, a quiet part of me started collecting these moments, one by one. Still, I didn't let myself go there. I wasn't going to be the paranoid husband accusing his wife over nothing. But deep down, I knew. Something had shifted, and not in my favor. It happened on a Tuesday night. I came home around 6:30, and Emma was already upstairs. I heard the water running in the shower. Her phone buzzed on the kitchen counter, screen lighting up. Normally, I'd ignore it. Hell, I usually did. But this time, something made me glance. It was a text from a number I didn't recognize. Can't stop thinking about last time, same spot tonight. My stomach dropped. Just like that. No build-up, no subtle clue I had to decode. That little kiss emoji felt like a punch in the ribs. I picked up the phone. It wasn't locked. I shouldn't have. But I did. The message thread was short but clear. This guy, Jake, had been texting her for weeks. Flirty crap, inside jokes, references I didn't understand, mentions of places they'd met, things they'd done. None of it spelled out directly, but it didn't need to be. My brain filled in the blanks just fine. Then I checked her email. More of the same. Nothing graphic, nothing detailed, but enough to connect the dots. Hotel confirmations. Calendar invites labeled meeting during hours I thought she was at the clinic. I heard the water shut off upstairs. I put the phone back exactly where I found it. My hands were shaking, but I forced myself to grab a soda from the fridge like nothing happened. Sat at the table, calm face, normal breath. That's what I kept telling myself. Act normal, don't give her anything. She came down in sweats, towel around her neck. "Hey," she said, brushing damp hair from her face. "You eat yet?" I shook my head. "Not hungry." She nodded and microwaved some leftover lasagna. Sat across from me, like nothing was off, and maybe for her, nothing was. But for me, something had snapped. That night, I barely slept. I just stared at the ceiling, heart thudding like I'd run a damn marathon. I wasn't just angry, I was humiliated. This wasn't just about cheating, it was the way she hid it behind smiles, came home and kissed me on the cheek like she wasn't out screwing someone else. The next morning, I woke up before her. Stood in the hallway for 5 straight minutes, staring at the closed bathroom door, listening to her hum some upbeat tune. Like, her day wasn't built on a lie. I started checking her phone whenever I got the chance. Emails, messages, call logs. It became a ritual. She wasn't even careful. She just assumed I'd never look. And I didn't confront her. I didn't scream. Didn't flip a table or throw her phone across the room. That's not how I do things. She didn't deserve that kind of reaction from me. Instead, I started pulling away. I stopped asking about her day, stopped noticing her haircuts or commenting on her outfits. She'd tell me she had plans, I'd nod. She'd text during dinner, I'd keep eating. She noticed, but barely. "Everything okay?" she asked one evening when I hadn't said more than 2 words the entire night. "Fine," I muttered. That was enough for her. She went back to whatever was on her phone. And that told me everything. It wasn't guilt she felt, it was distance. Same one I'd been feeling for months, only now I knew the reason. So I kept it all to myself. Let her think she was getting away with it. Let her keep sneaking around, not knowing that I already knew every dirty secret she thought she was hiding. After that, I stopped playing the role. No more Friday night dinners, no more weekend runs to Lowe's or grocery trips together. I told her I was tired. I told her I had work. I told her nothing at all. And she didn't push, didn't ask why. She just shrugged, grabbed her keys, and went alone. I kept showing up to work, kept doing the job, but I was on autopilot. Tom cracked a joke one morning, and I barely reacted, just stared at the numbers on the screen like they meant something. "You good, man?" he asked. "You've been off." "Didn't sleep well," I said. Lie number 1 for the day. It wasn't insomnia, it was her breathing next to me while she sent late-night texts to someone else. The house got quiet in a way I hadn't noticed before. not peaceful, dead. We used to at least talk during dinner. Now we sat in silence. I chewed. She scrolled. Then we went to our separate corners of the house. She still tried occasionally to make it seem normal. She'd ask if I wanted to watch a movie, suggest trying out the new Thai place downtown. But her voice was thin, like she was reading from a script she didn't believe in anymore. I always had an excuse. I'm beat. Not feeling great. Maybe next weekend. She'd nod, say, okay, and go right back to pretending nothing was wrong. But something was. I was done pretending. One Saturday, she went to brunch, again, and I didn't bother asking who with. I stayed home and sat in the backyard, drinking a beer before noon, staring at the grass I used to care about cutting straight. Mike showed up later that afternoon, unannounced like he always did. Jesus, man, he said, looking at the bottles on the patio table. You starting early now? I didn't answer. He pulled up a chair. What's going on with you lately? You look like a ghost. Work stuff, I said. Lie number 2. He narrowed his eyes. Come on, you and Emma okay? We're fine. He shook his head. You don't look fine. You look like you're stuck in some kind of fog. You don't talk. You don't laugh. That's not you, Ben. I stared out at the fence. What do you want me to say? Mike leaned forward. I want you to say something real. Whatever it is bottling it up like this, it'll rot you from the inside. Don't let it fester, man. I didn't respond, just took a sip and let the silence hang between us. He left not long after, didn't push again. But I could tell he knew I was lying. I just wasn't ready to say the truth out loud. Back inside, Emma was already upstairs, lights off. I stood at the bottom of the staircase, watching the shadows stretch across the hallway. The house felt colder, even in August. She'd become a ghost I lived with. Body still here, but everything else had left a long time ago. And now I was matching her, pulling back, shutting down, brick by brick. But I never let her see it fully. I still said good morning, still paid the bills, still cleared the dishes. From the outside, it looked like a tired marriage going through a slump. Inside, I was done. A few days later, Emma decided to throw one of her little get-togethers. Just a casual evening thing. Some wine, cheese boards, too many candles, and the same circle of friends I barely knew anymore. She didn't ask if I wanted to help. Didn't ask if I wanted it at all. Just told me we were hosting, like I was a roommate who paid rent, not a husband. People started showing up around 7, mostly women from her job, a couple of their husbands, some neighbor from 2 doors down. I stuck to the corner of the living room with a drink in my hand, nodding at people who probably couldn't even remember my name. I wasn't part of the conversation. That much was obvious. I was just there to fill space. Then I heard her voice. She was in the kitchen with 3 women, maybe 4, and the room had that low buzz of chatter and glasses clinking. But then her words cut right through it. Ben, she said, laughing. He's basically just background noise at this point, like a couch or an end table. Always there, never says much. The group laughed, not loud, but enough. I didn't move, didn't blink, just stood there, frozen, drink halfway to my lips, listening to them laugh at the man I've been for 18 years. She didn't sound angry when she said it. That's what hit the hardest. She sounded bored, dismissive, like I was an extra in the story of her life. I turned and walked straight out the front door. Didn't say a word, didn't slam anything. Just stepped into the cool night air and sat on the front steps like I was waiting for a cab that had never come. I could still hear the voices inside, muffled and distant. I stared at the dark street, jaw clenched so tight it ached. After 10 minutes, I went back in. Nobody even noticed I'd been gone. She passed by me once to grab a bottle of wine. Didn't make eye contact, didn't act like anything had happened. Later that night, once everyone was gone and she was washing up, I sat at the kitchen table with an untouched beer. She moved around the kitchen humming softly, like she hadn't ripped me open in front of strangers. I didn't say a damn thing. Next morning, I got a call from Mike. You looked off yesterday, he said. You good? I'm fine. Don't give me that crap. You sound like a guy who just got kicked in the teeth. Just tired, man, he sighed. You know I'm here, right? I mean that. I know. I hung up and stared at my phone for a full minute before putting it face down. Emma didn't mention the party. No follow-up, no apology, not even a passing, hey, sorry if that was weird. Nothing, and I didn't bring it up. What was the point? I'd already made the decision in my head. She didn't need to know it yet. But from that moment on, whatever part of me had still been holding on, gone. I made the decision the next morning. It wasn't dramatic. No screaming fight, no final straw. Just me standing in the kitchen, staring at the sink full of wine glasses from the night before, and realizing I couldn't do this one more day. Not one. Emma was upstairs, probably still asleep. I didn't care. I went to the closet, grabbed my old duffel bag, and packed light. Jeans, a few shirts, toothbrush, charger, wallet. I didn't take anything that mattered to her, just the bare minimum. I wrote a note on a yellow sticky from the junk drawer. 4 words. Don't call. There's nothing left to discuss. I stuck it on the fridge, didn't even sign my name. I grabbed my keys and walked out the door without looking back. The cabin was about 3 hours north, up in the Adirondacks. I'd been there a few times for work retreats when the firm still did that sort of thing. Quiet place, middle of the woods, just a bed, a chair, and no cell reception unless you hiked up the road. I booked it online from a gas station parking lot 15 miles out. The woman who ran the place left the key in the lockbox, just like always. By early afternoon, I was sitting on the porch, a cold beer in hand, looking out at a stretch of trees that didn't ask anything from me. I thought I'd feel wrecked, or angry, or scared, but mostly I felt nothing. There was this strange calm, like I'd finally stopped treading water. I wasn't free exactly, but I wasn't drowning either. I kept waiting for the regret to hit me, the guilt, the second guessing. It never came. What did come was this weird emptiness. Like I'd carved out a piece of myself and left it behind in that house, and now there was just space where something used to be. I sat there for hours, not thinking about much. The breeze rattled the trees. Somewhere in the distance, a bird called out and no one answered. I wondered if she'd even read the note right away. If she'd stand there in the kitchen, phone in hand, confused, maybe angry, maybe not. Would she even try to reach out? Probably. Would I care? Number. I was done playing a part in someone else's show. That night, I fell asleep faster than I had in months. No tossing, no staring at the ceiling, just black. And in the morning, I didn't wake up feeling like I had to explain myself to anyone. By day 3 at the cabin, I knew I needed to close the loop. Not for her, for me. There was this itch in the back of my head that wouldn't go away. Not rage, not jealousy, just unfinished business. So, I sent a text. 1 line. Coffee? Just want to talk, guy to guy. I knew the number. I'd seen it enough. He replied within an hour. Sure, tomorrow, 10 a.m., Crescent Cafe. Like we were 2 old friends catching up. The arrogance practically bled through the screen. I showed up 15 minutes early, got a corner table facing the door, ordered black coffee, no food. I didn't plan to stay long. He walked in right on time, like he owned the place. Late 30s maybe. Tan, fit, buttoned down, tucked in too tight like he wanted to be noticed. Probably worked in sales, or wanted people to think he did. He spotted me and walked over, that smug grin already forming. Ben, right? He said, sliding into the seat across from me without being asked. Didn't think I'd hear from you. I figured you wouldn't, I said, sipping my coffee. But here we are. He leaned forward like we were swapping secrets. So what's this about? You looking for closure? Or advice? Call it curiosity, he chuckled. You know, it's always awkward at first. But trust me, once you let go, it gets easier. I didn't respond. He looked me over, then shrugged. Look, man, I didn't plan any of this. It just happened. Chemistry's weird like that. You done? He raised an eyebrow. I guess. I leaned forward, voice steady. She's now completely your problem. He blinked, the grin slipping just a little. Excuse me? You heard me, I said. You think you won something? You didn't. You got the same hollow version of her I lived with for 2 years. Whatever rush you're chasing, it fades, he scoffed. You're bitter, that's all this is. Number, I'm clean. I sat back, arms crossed. You just don't know what you signed up for. He looked down for a second, like he was trying to figure out how to respond. Then he smiled again, but it didn't reach his eyes this time. She said you'd act like this. Did she also say I left, on my own, that she didn't even know until she saw the note? That one landed. He didn't say anything for a beat. I stood up and dropped a 5 on the table. Enjoy the ride, Jake. He looked like he wanted to say something more, maybe throw one last jab, but I was already walking out. The sky outside was gray. Rain was coming. I got in my truck and sat there for a minute, watching people move in and out of the cafe like it was just another Tuesday. I should have felt satisfied, should have felt like I won. Instead, I just felt flat. Like the air had gone out of something I didn't even know I was still holding on to. I'd said what I needed to say. I'd watched him squirm, and it still didn't feel like enough. By the time I got back to the cabin, the text had already started. First one was short. "Can we talk?" I didn't respond. Then came, "I don't understand why you left like that. Please, just call me." Still nothing from me. By day 2, the tone shifted. Less confused, more desperate. Calls started coming in. I'd let them ring out. Then she'd text again right after, one after another. Was it something I did? "We can fix this. I know we can." "Ben, please answer. I'm losing my mind." She didn't even realize how far past fixable we were. I didn't block her. I wanted her to see the silence. Let her feel what it was like when words stopped working. I opened up my laptop, checked every joint account, credit card, retirement plan. Everything was already untangled. I'd made sure of that before I walked out. Her name was off the mortgage. Auto payments switched to my own account. She couldn't touch a dollar. It wasn't revenge, it was insurance. A few nights later, she left a voicemail. I didn't listen to it right away. When I did, it was exactly what I expected. Her voice was shaky, like she was trying to cry but couldn't quite commit. "I made a mistake, Ben. I didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't plan any of it. I got lost. But it doesn't mean I don't love you. Please don't shut me out." It didn't hit me, not even a little. I stared at the phone until the screen dimmed, then slid it back onto the table and went back to reading. The next day, Mike called. "You hear from her?" he asked. "Yeah." "She's spinning," he said. "I ran into her brother at the store. She told the family you had a breakdown and needed space." "Of course she did." "You planning to meet with her?" "Nope." Mike was quiet for a second. "Just be careful. She'll twist it. That's how people like that work. They get scared, they pivot, they pull you back just long enough to control the damage." "I'm not going back," I said flatly. "I believe you, but she's going to keep trying. Guilt's her only weapon now." "I'm immune," he exhaled. "Good." After we hung up, I sat on the porch with a fresh coffee and watched the wind pick up through the trees. My phone buzzed again. Another message. I didn't even check it this time. I didn't need to. I already knew the script. "We can try therapy." I didn't know what I wanted. "You were always there. You didn't deserve it. I miss us. I miss you." Too late. She'd spent years not seeing me, not hearing me, not caring that I was right in front of her. And now she wanted the version of me that finally left. The silence between us stretched out like a canyon, and I had no plans to fill it. She begged for a face-to-face, said she couldn't move forward without closure. I finally said yes, not for her, for the final nail. We agreed on a small cafe near the house, neutral ground. I got there 20 minutes early, ordered black coffee and sat by the window. I didn't feel nervous, just ready. I watched cars roll by, people coming in and out with their lives intact. I didn't envy them. I didn't envy anyone anymore. She walked in 5 minutes late, like always. Hair done, lipstick on. Trying to look effortless, but I could see it, the panic just under the surface. "Hey," she said, like we were old friends meeting up after years apart. I didn't stand, just nodded once. She sat down across from me, clutching her purse like it could protect her. "I wasn't sure you'd show." I didn't answer. She cleared her throat. "I've been thinking a lot, about everything, about us." I stayed quiet. "I know I screwed things up," she said. "But we had something, Ben. We really did. And I miss it. I miss you." Still nothing from me. I wasn't in a good place. I got lost in everything. Work, pressure, getting older. I don't know. Jake didn't mean anything long term. It was a mistake. I see that now. I reached into my coat pocket and pulled out the envelope, set it on the table. No words. She looked at it like it might explode. "What is this?" "Final papers," I said. "House sales in motion. Accounts are closed. Everything's itemized." She didn't move. "You don't get to rewrite this," I said. "You don't get to reshape the story to fit whatever you need it to be now." Her eyes started to water, but I didn't care, not anymore. "I didn't think you'd be this cold," she whispered. I stood up. I'm not cold, I said. I'm done. I left the envelope on the table, untouched. She didn't try to stop me. I walked away without looking back, leaving everything, her, the house, the life we built, behind.